Hi. As all you regular watchers will know, I had an incident with the van, a breakdown on Monday, was it? Seems a long time ago now. Well, you will be delighted to know that the garage sorted it out at their own expense, since it was something that I had asked them to look at for a service, during a service a couple of weeks ago. So that's good. What isn't so good is that yesterday there was an incident with the other van, which was slightly more dramatic. And I do have some pictorial evidence. Can you see that? Probably not. There, I'll show you that first one again because I'm sure you're interested. So I'm sure you're delighted to know that we were all fine, both myself, my wife and the other driver, and that we were stationary. He was going much too fast and was unable to stop. We stopped. But the upshot is that the van is off the road for a while, I don't know how long, which impacts on work because we use it for work. So it's a big inconvenience, and I don't want to be out of pocket over this because I wasn't at fault. So I would like to think that the insurance company will be able to pursue this and sort things out in a satisfactory manner. But we shall see. If you're interested in some more relationship things, I have heard from my sister. I think have I said that? Things have been a bit better, a bit more open. Slightly less tension with my wife, but still very difficult communication. And my friend comes and goes. Sometimes she's great and open and communicative, as she used to be. Other times she's quite challenging. She makes something of things I've said, which is in her mind. She either imagines I've said things or changes things that I've said to mean something else, which is what my wife does, and I find it very difficult. But the difference is that with my wife, if I try and mention this, she just explodes. Whereas with my friend, at least we can have some dialogue about it and explore it. Sorry, that's very rude of me. I'm just looking at a message that I have received from my friend, but I haven't got time to go into that now. Where were we? Yes, I'm working today, stopped for my tea break. As you've probably noticed, I haven't got anything to eat though, which is rather remiss of me. Later on today, I have to make a video call on Telegram with, I'm going to be very vague here, someone about something I'm planning to do in a month's time. If I just say it's the plant medicine ceremony. But I will say that the prospect fills me with anxiety and panic, not of the medicine, but of the interaction with people around it. And the first thing that comes up is this video interview this afternoon. And as someone who doesn't and can't talk as a rule, this is a cause for huge anxiety for me. It's something I couldn't do at home for two reasons. Firstly, no mobile signal and the broadband is absolutely pathetic, and things like video calls or Zoom, it just keeps cutting out. So my friend has very kindly offered me the opportunity to make this call from her house, where she has proper broadband, which is great. She's great. She's very helpful and supportive despite the difficulties we have. That's good. It still leaves the prospect of the ceremony itself. Now, I have negotiated a one-to-one. This is normally a group ceremony thing, but I couldn't face that. I could never ever do that. One-to-one, and the only reason I can do this is because my friend has offered to come along. Now, she's done this before, and originally when this plan was hatched, she was going to join me, but due to her homeopathy remedy that she's taking, she can't do things like this. But she's still offering to come along, and this is support that I badly need, because I wouldn't do it without her. I couldn't do the group, and I couldn't do one-to-one, because I'm just not comfortable around people. And I'm hoping that the presence of someone that I know and trust is going to make it a practical proposition. And, you know, I'm going to have to take my shirt off because it's so sunny. I have missed this in the last week or two. Excuse me, excuse my exposure. But I know it's only on part of my body, but that feels great. You don't have to look. It's just for my benefit. So my friend, we'll call her B for the for ease, if I remember. She's agreed to come along to this event for me, for me, both of those, even though she's not partaking herself. And I really appreciate that. That is one of the kindest things someone has ever done for me. And it means that I can actually contemplate the prospect. But we shall see, that's better, how it ends up in reality. I'm getting lost. What was I going to talk about? Last week at this spot it was very, very sunny indeed, and I had the other van, which has now been damaged, and I climbed up on the roof and sunbathed for half an hour or more, which was great. This is a bit short. I could probably... No, my head or feet would be hanging off the end of the roof. So it wouldn't be comfortable, and although the sun is very hot, it's quite windy and the wind is cold. But I think I do this, I divert myself. Plant medicine, it's actually toad medicine ceremony. Gratitude. Now what I will say here is that things have been difficult, slightly problematic between myself and B, as I will call her. And I do worry that she is going ahead with this, accompanying me on this journey, because she said she would, and she doesn't want to break her word. And me, with my self-loathing and paranoia, is telling myself that once it's over, she will feel she has fulfilled her obligation and drop me. But we shall see. I can smile about it, but it's a real fear. Because we have gone from being so close to this slightly more awkward, definitely less comfortable relationship. which comes from her, because to me she is still the one person in my life with whom I feel comfortable, and most importantly, whom I feel I can trust completely unconditionally, which is a novelty for me. If you bothered to look at my earlier videos, and there's no reason why you should, some of them do reveal difficulties I've had in my childhood in particular, which I think have severely compromised my ability to trust people. So finding someone that I can trust with absolutely anything and anything personal has been an amazing revelation. It's been great. And even if she's backing off, I still feel that I can trust her. I can say anything to her. And that's so important. I'm all right for time still. So, where was I? Today, late this afternoon, video call at B's house, because I can't do it at home because I don't trust my wife with anything personal, and that sounds harsh, but it's from 28 years of experience, to be honest. I have been let down so many times and betrayed on occasions that I just don't feel I can trust her. That's not new. I'm incredibly grateful that this opportunity has been given to me this afternoon. And it is a safe environment for me. The house is, what was that crossing the road? I don't have my glasses on. Black? Was it a mink? Wasn't a rabbit. Never mind. House, safe. I do feel safe in her house in a way that I don't in my own. And again, yes, there is some reservation, awareness that I'm in someone else's house all the time, and it isn't mine to behave as I would wish. And yet I feel so safe and comfortable and secure there that it has been amazing. Some of these videos will have been recorded there, because at one time she was forever pressing me to stay over the night. And this was a significant thing that changed. I would never assume that I was welcome and that there was an invitation. But for quite a long time, she was constantly inviting me to stay. Now, this is all proper, separate bedrooms, nothing inappropriate or untoward. But it was wonderful for me because it was this safe house with somebody I trusted, and it didn't matter what I said or did, it just felt safe, not judged. So I really benefited from that. But the penultimate time, she invited me to come and stay for a week, but after 3 days she had second thoughts. And I have been back. Have I been back since? I think I've been back for a night since. 1 or 2 nights. But it's not the same. She was quite insistent before, and now it doesn't come up. But I didn't really want to talk about this. Does it matter? This is just a space where what I want to say comes up, by and large. I started off talking about the van. The first breakdown on the Monday, she offered to come and pick me up and take me home, which is a long way out of her way, which is great. The the accident yesterday, she again offered to come and help me and take stuff to the market for me, which is great. But I didn't take advantage of that because I don't like to, that's the answer, I don't like to feel I'm taking advantage of people. Because I'm not important. Other people's needs are always more important than mine. And then I tell myself, how genuine is their offer? Is it just a feeling of obligation? Do they really mean it? With her, I think she does really mean it, to be honest. So I don't feel comfortable accepting help from other people, which has handicapped me for much of my life. And which indeed makes my accepting the help, the support of accompanying me to the toad ceremony a big thing, the fact that I've been able to do that. To say, thank you very much, I will accept your offer. But I can't normally do it because I worry about putting the other person out, and I still do. So I don't do things, do them badly, do them on my own, and fail or don't enjoy myself because I can't take for granted any help. What's that all about? I'm sure someone out there will tell me. But it is, in part, down to this trust thing. I've relied on help or support from people when it's been offered in the past and been let down so many times. Going back to childhood, it's like you think someone's your friend and then they betray you in a very hurtful way. That has been a pattern throughout my life, and it still is. Do you know, I have this offer for a month's time, and part of me still knows that at the last minute she's going to say, actually, no, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. And if I predict it or expect it, I dare say it will happen, won't it? No, it won't. It's going to happen. It's great and I'm looking forward to it. Apart from the anxiety about the people. Oh, that's what I was talking about, wasn't it? God, I am going on, aren't I? Where were we? Trust, accepting help, being let down, betrayed. Pattern throughout my life. I attract it. It benefits me in some way. But it hurts, which is why I don't ask for help. I don't accept offers of help. Because of the inevitable pain of being let down. And as I hinted, that's something that goes back to childhood. I would like to go back to the life story videos that got interrupted. Sorry, itching. I think I got to secondary school. And yes, there were traumatic events at secondary school. Subsequent to that, things probably moved faster. In that I don't remember so much. But it was still pretty shit. Being alone, unfortunate relationships, unsatisfactory relationships. A lot of being alone, feeling isolated. Being subject to borderline bullying. Being unable to do things I wanted to because of my fear of people, relationships, being around people. relationships with, I said, with which are good things, but some pretty shit things. One in particular was very damaging, and it took me 10 years to even begin to get over it, and I'm not sure I got over it now. And there's my current relationship, which I probably wouldn't talk too much about, which has had its very good times, but it's had some pretty bad ones as well. Some of which I freely admit are my fault. But I'll get back to that sometime. Part of the problem is having time, because it takes time to set down and, I would say, marshal my thoughts, even if it's just some sort of stream of consciousness bollocks and saying what comes into my mind. That doesn't come easily to me, and I still have to think about it a bit. And there's the opportunity. I can't comfortably do this at home unless my wife is not there. I can't comfortably do it if there's anyone around, anyone who might hear. And then there's doing something with the video afterwards. I have hours and hours of them that I just sat on the phone, or I just delete them. Problem being that to upload them, I have to be away from home, somewhere with good broadband. Which, in my very limited life, means either being at the house of my friend B, or being in somewhere like a cafe where they've got good broadband. It's quite limiting. And then I forget what's in the video, and I'd have to watch it again to make sure it's suitable for uploading, because a lot of them aren't. They might just be boring or irrelevant, or I might say things that I don't particularly want to put out there because they're personal or they involve other people. So that means I can't just say, oh, I recorded that a week ago, I've got the opportunity, I'll upload it. I will have to check what was in it. Am I being over cautious? Probably, but if it involves other people, no, I'm not being over cautious. Anyway, this video, I might get a chance to upload it this afternoon. If not, I don't know when it'll be. It's crazy, isn't it? If I don't get this video, or any of the other ones waiting, uploaded in my brief time this afternoon when visiting my friend, when I will leave this phone for the video chat about the toad medicine, and I'm using the other one to record it at my friend's suggestion, which would be pretty frightening. And will I ever watch that back? I feel mortified at the thought, even now. But if I don't upload this video this afternoon, when will it happen? The next time I'm going to be somewhere with good broadband of sufficient strength to enable me to do this will be it won't be. The only opportunity I will have where I can definitely say I've got time to upload a half-an-hour video will be if I visit my friend and stay there for several hours. There are a couple of Fridays coming up when I might be able to do it in a cafe. But it's funny to realise how much one relies on having good broadband. A bit worrying, I suppose. If I felt freer that that was a more readily accessible option. I'd do a lot more videos and you'd get bored and you wouldn't watch any more of them, and I would never be able to monetize this channel, which I will never anyway. It's not my aim. And as you know, I've told you this before, I don't do it for you, this is for me. Because if you haven't done it already, try it. It's a very freeing, liberating experience. It was difficult at first. The first 20, 30 videos I recorded as an exercise, I deleted. Because historically, going back to when I first had access to a cassette tape recorder. Any of you remember those? Perhaps you do. First had a cassette tape recorder and heard my own voice. That was such a shock, and I carried that with me. That would have been 70s, mid-70s, so 50 years ago. And since then, I have hated my voice and the sound of my voice with a passion. Even as I hear it in my head, it doesn't have to be recorded back. It's just how it sounds to me, knowing what it sounds like to others. So making these recordings has really helped me so much. I wouldn't have thought a year ago that I would be doing this now with the intention of actually putting it out there for other people to see. So if you haven't done it, and if you have difficulties speaking, worrying about how you sound and how you look, record yourself, make videos, lots of videos. Put them on the internet, put them on YouTube, and see what happens. I suppose I'm fortunate I haven't had a lot of negative comments. I haven't had very many comments at all, but that's not why I do it. And I can imagine if one does get hurtful comments, it could be damaging. But then, that said, I have had slightly hurtful comments on a forum on which I post occasionally. And, okay, somebody doesn't like you. That's not my problem, really. In fact, there is a book out there by some chap, Carl Vernon. I know nothing about him. I've come across the book, someone's lent it to me to look at. And the title is It's Okay to be Disliked. And the fact is, it is okay to be disliked. You don't have to go around trying to make people like you all the time, which is a very hard lesson to learn. And I still spend much of my time trying to make people like me. And I avoid people as much as possible. But you don't have to do that, and it doesn't matter. If somebody doesn't like you, it's not your fault. It's how they have reacted to me. So it's beyond my control, which is quite a good thing to realise. If I post a video and I get comments I don't like, that's someone's reaction to me. I don't have to let it hurt me. I can always block them, delete the comment, I suppose. I haven't had to do that yet. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day. But on this forum, I have probably had one or two unkind responses to things I've written. Does it matter? No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter at all. Even if I feel a momentary hurt and discomfort, it doesn't matter to me at all. And that's very energizing, powerful feeling to have. Although I will freely concede it's much harder to carry into the real physical world when the people who might say hurtful or upsetting things aren't just words on a screen, people you're never going to see. They are people you actually encounter. But hopefully the one is a preparation for the other. being able to accept one will enable me to see the real world one in proportion. And it's not me, it's not something I've done, it's how people are choosing to react to me. Anyway, well, that's it for today. I was hoping to have a sleep, but I'm going to have to get on presently. Just a quick mental calculation of time. Yes, I've got work to do. I want to have a cup of tea and hopefully use the lavatory there, because I do have access, I think for another month until it closes for the season, to an arts venue. It's called the Sidney Nolan Trust, and I'm sure that name rings a bell with lots of you. Sidney Nolan, Australian artist. His house and studio are a sort of gallery space that I pass on Fridays, and where I stop for tea. The tea's all right, the cakes are shite, but I only buy them because it's helping them and supporting them. And they've got a decent lavatory, which when you're out all day is quite useful. Gosh, why am I talking about this here? It's difficult to find a decent lavatory because most public lavatories are places you don't really go if you can help it. Also, the building is lovely. It's a lovely spot. Wandering around the grounds, they have outside art installations. Beautiful place, but it shuts, I think, in September. Why was I there? Well, I don't know. Oh, I want to fit in a visit there. A physical needs break. And I want to get all this done and get to the house of the person I will call B in time, hopefully, to have a chat, catch up with her before my frankly terrifying video call. Yes, I am frightened. This is where we started. I think. I'm terrified. Have I told you this? In trying to deal with lifelong problems, I have a couple of times attempted, psychotherapy, where one is talking about oneself in what is supposedly a secure, safe, trusting environment. And I was shite. I take it all on myself. I was shite. I couldn't talk. I've seen getting a bit cold now, two therapists over the years, and I never felt I could talk to either. I saw both of them for many years, well, one at a time, many years, and even towards the end of the time with them, I would sometimes spend my clinical hour, sat in silence because I couldn't speak. I was unable to reveal anything about myself, and it was an utter waste of time. Really pointless. And it ended up making me feel worse. Contrast that with the person I'm calling B, whom I have known for 10 years, but I've only known closely for the last 18 months, give or take a bit. And yet, I can talk to her about anything. Absolutely anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Not idle chit-chat, politics, football, sport, bollocks. No, anything about myself, my past, my fears, anxieties, my inclinations. I don't know how to say that. But with her, I have the freedom of expression, the ease, which I have never had with anyone before, and certainly never managed to achieve with the psychotherapists. And I put this down to a change in me, partly, but also she's someone I can trust. And I value that so highly because I've never had that before. Even my wife of 27 years, I can't trust her. I can tell her some things, or I have been able to in the past, but I've never been able to trust her. I think one or two occasions when I have shared personal things, she's breached that trust and shared them with other people. And how does that leave me feeling? Does B share things with other people? I think she does share some things. She certainly does with her homeopath. And she's told me and she showed me, and I don't care. Does she share things with other people? I've asked her not to, and subsequently modified it to say that yes, she can. She can share what she wants, but please not with people who will readily be able to identify who she's talking about. And I trust that she doesn't. And if she does, it's beyond my control, isn't it? I just have to accept it. It's part of trusting her. And this is something I've never done before. Just going back for a moment, the second psychotherapist I saw was, I think, responsible for a huge breach of trust. After I'd finished seeing her, she plainly mentioned that I had been her client to a mutual acquaintance, someone who was actually a customer of us in this work. And, do you know, I can't forgive her for that. To me, that is a huge breach of trust. I don't know what you think about it. But this acquaintance, who was a business customer, actually referred obliquely to my psychotherapeutic relationship with someone else. And that's only come from her. Think about that. That's a breach of trust. Unforgivable. Now, will my friend B do that? Does she? I don't know. I can live with it. I trust her. On that note, I've got to go. I have work to do. I could stay here longer and bore you, but do you know, no one's going to watch this video. I know that nobody's going to sit down and watch 37 minutes of me talking bollocks. So I could say what I wanted. I could name names. I could talk about toad medicine ceremonies, other drugs, and it doesn't matter because nobody's going to listen ever. Those videos I've recorded, which I've either uploaded as private or deleted because they were too personal, I could have uploaded those because nobody listens. I'm just talking bollocks now. Nearly 40 minutes. I've got stuff to do. Did I talk about what I intended to? Have I just been talking everyday nonsense? Probably, but do I care? Bye.